social position. This matures with 2 years. And if the dog is already settled in the behavior, in the technique, you don't have these conflicts to make the push. We try to bring it in afterwards, but this is sometimes not possible. Often it's possible to come back. See, a friend of mine from Austria comes and he has this shepherd, very nice and obedient. When he says Fuß, he's what is doing, yeah? And everything is nice, and the tracking is nice. And then he came for me with Schutzhund, 3-year-old dog. And he works always himself as a helper, everything is nice and green, and it's a good dog in the green. And then in the Schutzdienst, and the dog didn't bark aggressive. And when I did not plan B, I just was standing there ignoring him. There was no frustration with goes to gray. There was frustration with goes to blue. And he, I said, hey, what have you done? 3 years. This dog is 0 in the gray. You must bring up the gray. It took me 3 Schutzdiensts. And now he performed on the high performance trial in Switzerland, and I think he was 2nd place or something like this. And he said, oh, you just gave him the kiss on the right side, on the right time, to push him up, and now he's there. So it was possible to bring it back, because there is not much nature in this dog. But nowadays I know, when I have a young puppy, I don't enjoy myself that this has so much drive and is so nice, and teach this and bring it to a super training level with 11, 12 months. I don't do this. I put him away. And I tell all my friends, wait, let's have a look one time with 9 months. Let's have a look one time with 13 months. Let's have a look one time with 18 months. And when you realize that your dog in your private life starts to be proud, starts to be show off with other males, or starts to show off to you, there is something maturing. There comes a grade. And then let's start with our training. Because when we train, we have conflicts. And with these conflicts, we push the grade and we put it into the technique. So by training, we train the grade and we coordinate the colors in the head. It's so funny. We have in between 20 training sessions. If the dog is 20, sometimes 18, sometimes 22 months old, in 10 days, in 20 days, I have trained your dog up with real good gray, with real good green, with a real punch, and with a and with a clear obedience. And this is what I prefer in my life. See, maybe it's my 3rd hobby, is high-tech with ergonomia in my job and in my dog sport. Less input, maximum output. And this is effective work. And this is now what my opinion is nowadays. If I have a good dog with strong nerves and good drives, I wait until he's 18 months, 2 years old, when the grade matures, when it's there, and then I go into the training, into the teaching, and use these conflicts to clear the technique and to raise the drive. And this is genius. In the past, when we did the search for the blind, all our dogs went down in the drive when they were obedient. Nowadays, when we train the retreat, the searching the blinds, they get real good dogs. Because the active compulsion, together with the drive, the frustration, and and then the release in the grave, and this works super. And many of our friends, or the good ones of my LCC, when they get a new dog, they plan their holiday when the dog is 20 months old in Gifte for 2 weeks, and that's it. And then they have a good dog. And of course, classical conditioning doesn't generalize, instrumental conditioning doesn't generalize, and they have to train in different places, but the basic is there. They have strong dogs with a super punch, with a clear drive change, and a clear gray, and a good healing. Okay? So, this is a dog with a strong nerves. This is a shepherd with a good gray and a strong nerves. But there is another type of dog.
La pregunta es...
Wait. And I must turn on my Spanish ear.
Para nosotros que queremos practicar hipo o Schutzhund, entonces tenemos con la raza del pastor alemán que esperar a que el perro madure en sus instintos para poder construirlo en el sistema de forma adecuada. La gente que practica otros deportes donde a lo mejor el manejo de los instintos no debiera de ser así, no es tan necesario.
Sorry, I cannot follow. Sorry, a little bit lower. Put the microphone a little bit lower. Sorry, one more time. I could not follow.
Para nosotros que queremos hacer hipo, que incluso es un deporte creado de origen para el pastor alemán, entonces nosotros es conveniente esperar a que el perro madure sus instintos para moldearlos de la forma adecuada, a empezar por un super training. Ahora, hay tendencias para empezar cachorros desde los 2 meses en las diferentes fases, pero no conlleva un poco eso a no solamente hacerlo de forma inadecuada, sino que al final también se corrompe un poco el mismo deporte y vemos a perros en campeonatos del mundo con muchos puntos, pero no en el instinto adecuado.
Okay, so I realized I must give you my talk from Car Friday, from Good Friday, because this is exactly the problematic. Okay, so you talk about a different dog. I will talk about this in some minutes. Let's stay first on the question we had when to do what with a good dog with strong nerves. When you train the exercises, when this is not mature, where does the conflict go? To which color?
Blue.
Blue. That's your problem. You train the blue. You create an adaptive dog. So, if you train the technique and the exercises, when this is mature, where does it go? Where does it go?
To red.
Depends on the biceps of the handler. It can go to blue and it can go to gray. But now you have the option for the gray. If you have the champagne finger and not the biceps. Okay? And this is why we train later. The conflict has the option of gray and we go for the gray. So now comes the special thing of my talk on Friday. We ask the question, do we do the right selection of the sport, in the sport with the dogs? At the top of the world, you see in the moment dogs, low threshold, thin nerves, hyperactivity. If you see the puppies running around the street with 10 months, they have always something in the mouth, and this, if there is any attraction, they go. And when they are in a normal situation, they are all 10 seconds. Why can this dog exist and why can this dog make these high scores? Because we are so smart in our techniques now. In the past, when we were only aggression and compulsion, this dog could not hold it in the nerves. Either they only bite or they tail it under the chest. But these dogs have the big advance, I'm talking about the muddies, they act on green all the time. They don't have the problem that the threshold goes high. They don't have the problem that the dog gets tired to the traction because they are hyper nervous. Do you know these children? They have ADHS. Huh?
Síndrome de tensión.
Okay, this is the same. And we don't have the hard stick any longer, we have a soft stick. Our techniques are excellent. We can stay away from conflicts. And you saw that I worked the Malinois outside, quite different than the other ones. If you ask these dogs for the gray, either handler is in the hospital or the tail is under the chest. Now with these dogs, you start as a puppy. And you repeat, and you repeat, and you repeat over 3-5 years. And you remember? Technique puts drive away. So this puts the conflict away. And the dogs stabilize over the years. And with 3 or 5 years, this is a stable dog. And if you hit this dog, he knows that he can use his gray. And with 5 years, you have a very good, strong dog. And when the threshold goes down, high, by repeating, nerves become better. So I told you, classical conditioning, making difference is a long learning process. And these dogs have another advance. They have a super body. They can speed up very quick, they can jump. If you compare this with show shepherds, there are giants. There are ideal body types, and the others are not able to move quick. So these dogs have, from the anatomy and from the mental parts, super constitution for the modern technique of work. Pray, play, clicker. And you don't have the problem that they get tired to the traction. But the nerves are very thin. And my question, as LAZ of the RSV 2000, Leader, Ausbildung and Zucht, my question is, where will we go? This work with the clicker and the positive reinforcement is nice to see. Compulsion work is never nice to watch. And I'm open for everything. I don't know where the way is going. But if I ask my LCC, will we go with the shepherds this way? Low threshold, thin nerves, and hyperactive. They say, no, we don't want this dog. So, what is the trick? If you, let me say one thing, between these two types, there are lots of overlaps. You see, Edgar Scherkel has a shepherd typical Malinois. Thomas Lapp breeds Mali typical shepherds. Thomas Lapp is a name, a breeder, breeds Mali typical shepherds. Okay? But let's talk about these two extremes. With this kind of dog, you start early, plan A. And you work over 2-3 years, plan B. And be careful with plan C. You get the blue or you get the Lady Gaga. Handler in hospital and dog confused.
¿Los holandeses es lo mismo?
Pardon?
Holland,
Dutch.
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 The Malinois.
No.
The Dutch Shepherd.
El holandés.
Hollands. Well, let's stay in this problem at the moment. With a shepherd, if you do this way, you repeat. With 15 months, 18 months, he says, no ball. Not today. I don't like it. Maybe tomorrow. But he is not attractable all the time by repeating green. So, what do? We do sport. Sport, you get best results on the limit, physically and mentally. This Mali is on the limit of the nerves when you work him blue and green. And when you repeat, you move the limit forward. So he has more space to work on. And you don't have the problem that the attraction gets tired. If you have a shepherd, you must start with plan A. You make only short plan B. and you go very quickly to plan C. But plan C can only work if the dog is mature. If the conflict comes and the dog is not mature, you go there. And therefore, don't do so much work with the shepherd when he's younger. Let him become 2 years, and then go to plan C. And with plan C, in the aggression, you bring him to the limits of the nerves. And this is where a shepherd is full in drive. So, what is the difference in the training? A muddy feels well in the box, in the blue. And you teach him blue, clicker, green. Blue, clicker, green. And both he likes. So, a shepherd, and you make a deal. If you do, you get. And he adapts, and he's happy to get. So, you make the same deal with the shepherd. You go in the box, and if you do it, you can get it. But the difference is, when you make plan B, the muddy says, please, 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 come on, please, please, please. And the shepherd says, hey, come on, come on, come on. And stand up, please. Yeah? And with the Mali, it's easy to stay here in the box and to lift the head for 90 degrees. And he feels comfortable. So, and the shepherd, he cannot move up his head in this angle. And when he wants to watch, he turns a little bit the body. And then the body goes a little bit like this. And then shepherd says, hey, come on, come on, come on, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. Yeah? And this is a gray behavior. He asked for it. This one begs for it, and this one asks for it. And this is the difference between blue and gray. And thank you very much. And this is something you must know. I have many of my friends, they start with a shepherd, high talented, and they are so happy with 10 months that the dog is in the box like a muddy. And they can do this, boom, 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 and they'll be very nice and all this. Yeah, they train blue all the time. And with 15 months they sell the dog because it's not enough. How can you do this? This dog must be trained in the resistance and not in the adaptive. And it's exactly the foos position which makes a difference. Because this is the exercise which takes 30 minutes, 30 seconds. With all exercises which are just 2 or 3 seconds, it doesn't matter if you go by the blue or by the gray. But with the barking, which takes longer, and with the foos, which takes longer, you create character in green or in blue. And a shepherd, you must bring out the gray. Therefore, work the shepherd when the conflict can go to gray. And work it in a way that the dog in plan B knows he can be resistant. Don't put it to blue. This is, for example, why I stopped Sergio's foos at once. Impossible. Shepherd must be proud and not blue. And if he's not proud, no grip. You see, no attack. The dog has shit attack. Yeah? Because the gray is not there. The first is you must do the bite, that the dog is confident. Then comes the grip, then comes the barking, and then comes an active foos, where the dog is proud and asking for something. Do you remember? Classical conditioning. Making difference takes time. With a Mali, you need 4 or 5 years to teach him be stable in every situation. Did I say classical conditioning? Sorry, instrumental conditioning. Yeah? You teach the technique and you repeat the technique over 5 years at Plan B, and then the dog can do this always with all helpers, with different places, because he generalizes. With a shepherd, start him with dominance, with grade, and teach him here absolutely blue, and here absolutely gray. This is a long learning process. Let him be gray before you make him blue adaptive. At first build up the character in the gray, and then teach him,
How to be blue.
in some cases, absolutely blue. And this takes also 3 to 4 to 5 years. So, therefore, your question, also, same like this question, you cannot answer global. It depends to the character of the dog. But now you know to handle all characters. When you have a dog like a Mali, start with green, blue, stay away from gray. And this dog brings gray himself in it. Try to stay away from this. Start slowly with a little bit gray. When you can keep it in his nerves, go on. When you realize it's too much, go back to the green. And bring more and more gray, as much as the dog can handle with his nerves. So if you have a shepherd, bring in the gray and start slowly with adaptive behavior in the foot, in the bloods. But do only so less that the dog never loses his dominance in his gray. And this is the way how you bring up a dog. And all these dogs who are this mixture, this is easy. If you work them and they go to a Mali, try to bring them to the green. If they go to the green blue, try to bring them to the gray. And this changes always, yeah, in the upbringing. When the dog was created in gray, put the green in the front door. If the dog becomes too confident, too lazy, they conflict. It's gray in the front door. And now you know how to handle these dogs. And you know when to do what. So in general, if you have a high drive dog with low nerves, work him until he becomes stable. When he becomes too stable, stop it. Okay? If it's too much technique and the drive is too much down, stop it. So, if you have a strong dog, don't do so much technique, just raise drive and wait until it's more mature. 18 months, 2 years is a good age for confidence to get the grade. On the other side, if you